And a very, very warm welcome along, everybody. Happy Saturday. I think it's Saturday, I've got to be honest. My days are not quite with it. A little bit like me today. I hope everyone is doing a lot better than I am. You might be able to tell, or you might have read the pinned message, I did test positive for that horrible, horrible virus that has been plaguing us for the last goodness knows how long. It has come back with a bit of a vengeance. So hopefully we'll be able to get through today's challenge relatively unscathed. I've decided we're going to start going through the not the evolutions, the Pikachu clones. And I've really wanted to play EMOLGA again for quite some time. So I think we're going to be starting with EMOLGA. And we'll be picking and choosing our way through the Pikachu clones that we do have currently backported. So we'll be getting through quite a few of them, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Providing this virus doesn't get any worse, of course. Don't worry about the pre-recorded videos, they are all up, they're all pre-done. I made sure that I had a lot of videos for this exact kind of circumstance. So that is the plan with the streams. They're going to be as and when I feel up to it at the moment as well. So please do make sure you are subscribed with the all notifications on, and that way you'll know when I am live. So before we get into the run, let's take a little look at the stats of our EMOLGA. We are level 5 with 20 HP, holding a berry with Thunder Shock and Quick Attack. We've got 13 in attack, 15 in defense, 14 in special attack, 12 in special defense, and 16 in speed. And welcome in, by the way, to Slippy and Gemma. Fortunately, this one should be a fairly tame run. I didn't want to go for something too over the top, so we should be in for a fairly simple ride, hopefully. I can't even start my desserts at the moment, so Gary can both finish it and like it. Now, I'll always remember EMOLGA for that horrible gym fight in Black and White. Acrobatics and Volt Switch, and not having anything that I could hit this thing with because I didn't run any rock type moves. It was an absolute piggin' nightmare to get through. So it'll be nice to have it on our side. Let's grab the potion and let's have a little chat with Mr. Pokémon. So we shall get the Pokédex, and we'll make our way over to the first rival battle. I think I've been sensible here and given the rival the Cyndaquil line. We'll have to wait and see if my brain has managed to comprehend that correctly. Because obviously we can't give the rival Totodile because we've got the electric moves, and we can't give him Chikorita because we've got the flying moves. We'll grab this berry. Thank you for the warm wishes on the speed of recovery. I hope this one goes away as quickly as it came. At the beginning, well, towards the end of the Phalanx run, I was starting to feel really, really rotten. And today's the first day where I felt good enough to be able to at least try a run. I mean, the rival's going to be meaningless, hopefully throughout the course of the run anyway, but we'll just do it for posterity. And of course, no Mudslap going against us today. For once, we don't have to worry with an electric type that Falkner's going to be screwing us over. So I reckon that first gym is going to be fairly easy. Then we'll have the type advantage over Bugsy's Ace. And then by the time we get to Gym 3, that's when we panic. We'll easily have Spike by then, though. Acrobatics is going to be interesting to play with as well. Having a base 110, not even including stab move, is going to be pretty delicious. Falkner should be free. We've got a 100% accurate move. We are very speedy anyway. And we're going to resist Gust on the Pidgeotto. I can't take full credit for the sprite. Half of it was done by my wonderful friend, Mr. Sprouts. So I took care of the front sprite. He really fancied up the back sprite. And did a wonderful job of it. I think we've captured Emolga's detail really well. Level 9 acquired. Should hopefully be a one-shot on the second one. Let's take on Falconer, first gym leader together. Flying type specialist. Feel sorry for him. Away goes the Pidgey. And we'll two-shot the Pidgeotto. Level 10 acquired. We get TM31, which we can't learn today. And then we leave. 419 for the Zephyr badge. Actually, we're keeping hold of the egg for now, aren't we? Until we've caught Abra. That new bit of routing. I'm going to pick up the Prosecure Berry just in case. And now, normally I avoid Albert because he can confuse you. But I'm hoping that Thundershock should be a one-shot on the Zubat. Just like that. We'll grab the Repel, probably get a random rat or two now on our routing down. We'll take on double Poliwag. Not that we need the speed stat experience, really. But it's a lot of good early game experience. And I'm also going to risk the Goldeen here. Ah, that's what I was hoping not to happen. But we are fine in the end. We'll take on one more trainer. That being Birdkeeper Peter here. Do not discount what Acrobatics will be able to do against Red's team. Acrobatics is higher power than Stab Normal Return, and we've seen what Stab Normal Return can do on these runs. Do you mind, mate? For goodness sake. There we go. I like taking on Bill because it gives me a good indication of how our special is doing. Exactly, we won't need to hold any item. So that'll be 110 multiplied by a very high power move. Yep. Acrobatics doubles its power without holding an item. It's absolutely wonderful. Oh, we do need to catch Kenya, don't we? Goodness me. So there we have Kenya. And now we will do backwards Azalea Town today. We'll eventually get an encounter. I didn't quite get it working on the overlay. I did want to get Acrobatics updating its power on the overlay if you aren't holding an item, but unfortunately I didn't quite get it working in time. Should be a fairly simple fix though. We're going to go back into Union Cave now. Because I want to pick up Swift. Already we are seeing a great improvement in our attacking prowess by having Spark instead of Thundershock. And into the well we go. I don't think there are any too dangerous Pokemon around these parts. Rap's about the worst that Ekans can do. We're not going to have to worry either about getting confused by any more Zubat. Spark should be more than capable of knocking them out in one. I've gone for Hidden Power Fire, by the way, today. I'm hoping Acrobatics will be enough if we dump this thing full of protein to get through Lance. You know what, actually? We will learn Pursuit. Just gives us an extra move. Maybe for the Slowpoke down below. Do a bit of PP management that way. And because we're the flying type, I don't need to worry too much about Blue's Rhydon. He's not going to be able to Earthquake us. Level 18 acquired. And we get the Zephyr badge as well, 1007. That's not bad considering we did the double Slowpoke well. Rival 2 time. If I remember, I'm going to pick up Solar Beam on the way to the league. Because that will be our last case resort answer for any Pokemon like Blue's Rhydon. We don't learn Headbutt today, annoyingly, so we are going to do quick Ilex Forest. I feel like Headbutt would be a little bit broken on this thing, though, honestly. Messed up my steps there, so we are going to be running a little bit naked on the old Repel. Probably about 5 steps I messed up. Didn't make any difference in the end. And then we can get ourselves out of here with just the 2 ethers. Eventually. Welcome in, David. I'm doing as well as I can today. How are you? That's a much more important question. Grab the Abra. And we'll get out of here. Hopefully the shifts fly by for you, Gemma. Let's set up base in Goldenrod City for a little bit. I think out of all the Pika clones, it's definitely the most unique. It was the first, I believe, to go for a dual typing. Yeah, it was the beginning of the going for two. Going for the dual typing on the Pika clones, because then we had Dedenne, Electric Fairy, Togedemaru, of course, being electric and steel. So Falkner will be very happy when we rerun Togedemaru. More Pico Electric Dark could be fun. Oh, the lesser fight in Black and White 1. I'm, 15 years removed from it? It still pains me to this day. That fight came out of nowhere. Because Black and White was a fairly easy game up until that point. And then she was like, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough, mate. Is Jolteon in this game? Yes, Jolteon is in this game. You can get one as early as Goldenrod City. Well, Ecruteak City, then you backtrack on yourself. But yes, Jolteon is in the game. I think we've run Jolteon. If somebody in the chat could do ! results, followed by a space and then Jolteon, we'll see if we A, have done a challenge, and B, how quickly or slowly we did the challenge. It's single result, not multiple, not plural results, Fuckalash. I do keep meaning to do it for the double. Thank you, Gemma. We'll see if this thing's case sensitive now. There we go. 127.55 for Jolteon. Not a bad little time. Should we do another Jolteon run soon? But end of the line this time. In fact, why don't we do all the evolutions end of the line? I reckon that could be a lot of fun. Obviously not today. I'm not well enough to do it today. Now the question is, would you all rather they were pre-recorded videos so I can go full try hard? Or do you want them as streams so we can get the interactivity together? Lenora is one of my favourite gym leaders of all time. 1553 for the playing badge. I was going to call it the thingy badge then. Welcome in, Alex. How are you today? Did you see the end of the Phalanx stream? I showed off the Masquerade sprites for you. I wasn't sure if you were still around, but I thought, on the off chance that you are, or you're able to catch up on the VOD, I didn't want to break the promise there. Totally get it. Sometimes work just takes you away from the more important things, having fun. Bloody hell, Erwin. Get in the bin. We'll get ourselves a Rock Smash. Oh, a wild Pidgeotto will absolutely take the experience from that. We'll get the Ether. I feel like a lot of people, myself included, still picture fighting type as it was in early generations, where it just was not a good type to run with. It had great offensive stats, but not the moves to back it up with. Ooh, favourite gen game-wise? Probably Gen 6. Gen 6, I think, is a solid generation. Also Gen 2, obviously, with the amount I play it. Kinda have to like it to play it as much as I do. Misclicked there twice in a row. Was meaning to go for Swift. We'll put Swift in that slot. But what is your favourite gen game-wise? Got plenty of gens to choose from now. Yeah, Fighting and Poison, and I'd add Rock into that as well. In Gen 1 especially, they've got nothing. Brick Break was revolutionary for the fighting type. Brick Break would be so game-changing for the very final battle in these challenges as well. If we could Brick Break to get rid of Espeon's Reflect, then that entire final battle could change so much. Gen 3 or Gen 4, really solid gens. My issue is I play mostly these days from a solo running perspective, and Gen 4 especially is just that little bit too long to really enjoy. But I've got to say, if Gen 4 had come out with the improvements that Gen 7 made for quality of life, things like no longer having to use HM friends, I think Gen 4 would be my favourite gen overall. Now I know that not Scarlet and Violet, BDSP gets a lot of flack because they were fairly lazy remakes, but they showed to me that a lot of my issues with Sinnoh were purely down to having to have 2 Pokemon in my party just for HMs. My biggest bugbear with Gen 5, and it's a really little thing, is they got rid of L equals A. So when you're lying down in bed, not sleeping, because of course you weren't sleeping, you were playing Pokemon instead, you actually had to play with 2 hands. We've only ever done Mega Blaziken. We could run all 3 of the Hoenn starters at some point, probably as a video for those, without their Mega forms. If you are new around these parts and you're wondering how do Megas work, I spent a very long time coding it to be as close as possible to how they work in Gen 6 and 7. So a Mega Stone is part of the storyline, and you have to then hold the Mega Stone to Mega Evolve in battle. Staraptor is my quickest run to date, so I'm very happy with that one. You will not see any better than a 10301 on that leaderboard for now. Though I feel like this year especially, I'm starting to improve my times quite significantly. You didn't even need surf in the initial Black and White, did you? Or maybe you did for one tiny area. I can't quite remember how Victory Road worked in Gen 5. But yeah, you only needed cut. Everything else was for optionals. Because the only water route was just north of where you started, wasn't it? Or should I say there were two water routes there, I think. But you didn't need to go to them. That's where the P2 lab was. It's been a long time since I played Gen 5. So I just hope my memory is kind of there with it. Tell you what I would love to do at some point. If I had infinite time, I would try and rebuild Gen 5 in the Gen 2 engine. Storyline and everything. It's been done, but I've not done it. And I want to do it. I want to take on that challenge. A lot of the enjoyment out of, especially backporting me, is learning so much code. On my second channel, by the way, Squidgy Extra, if you have been wondering how to backport, I did do a series of tutorials to get you started with the old backporting. We get the win button now. Not that we can use it with this magnanimity. Looking at about a 26, 27 minutes Morty at the moment. Which isn't too bad. We're going to get the HP up here. Probably not going to use it for Karen, but when we do our housekeeping, I'll pick up a PP up. And those two combined should give us the money for an extra vitamin. I've always split out the side games from their core generations. Mostly because I think if you've got a poor generation but a really good side game, then it's a bit unfair to taint the side game with the poor generation. The only gen I didn't really like at all, and even then it was only the main game, was Gen 8. Like, I did not gel with any of the 8th generation, actually, for its main series. Let's take on Morty. Gonna risk we out the mint berry here. And hope that acrobatics is busted enough to one-shot the Gengar. Of course it's busted enough to one-shot the Gengar. What could I have been thinking? Fog badge, first try, 26-22. I've got a soft spot for Gen 9. I love how low stakes the storyline is. The engine and the world design and everything else about it is hot garbage. But I think its storyline is one of the best they've done. They went from jumping the shark ostensibly in Gen 8 with how over the top their story was. So no, it's just you and your mates. The 3 plot lines was really good. I just wish they were all a little bit more fleshed out. No, I'm not expecting any issues at all here in Chuck's gym. I think the gyms are challengeable in any order, but they don't have level scaling, which is an issue. I coded in level scaling into Gen 2. It's very easy to do. Like, I've got some code. I'm not sure if it's in the Challenge Run base or in the Nuzlocke base, which scales wild encounters and will evolve them. And the same with trainer teams. They did open world in a way that they thought they could get away with, while still keeping players on the single track. How do I do the rewind if I encounter a trainer or something that I don't want to battle? I've got it hooked up in this very special modded Game Boy Color that I've got here. It has a little memory that you can enable. I think it's called something just like rewind in the settings. It's an arch that's very retro, is my special Game Boy. Definitely not running an emulator. And yeah, I just hook it up to my controller, because I play on controller. So the left shoulder button can take me back and forth in time. And that's mostly because you've seen how I run around this world. I run around like a bull in a china shop without the rewind button. I'd have a few too many concussions to play this game correctly. 33 repel steps remaining. Right, we can do our goldenrod here. We can't do our goldenrod here. We'll use an acrobatics on this. There we go. Nuggets and rare candy. I'm actually going to sell a load of crap now, a little bit early. Because not only will it clear the bag, it'll mean we'll get some early proteins. So we don't have hands for that, we can't learn that, we can't learn that, we don't want to learn that, we don't want to learn that, and we don't want to learn that. Not going to do any more catching. How many proteins? Oh, we can't quite afford the full 5 that I wanted, but we did pick up the HP up and PP up. Gary is doing well. Let's unpause the time now that I've figured out what I want to do with the vitamins here. I'm going to risk it, you know, and I'm going to take on Jazz next. Might not be the most sensible idea in the world. But she's a very quick reset. Oh, bloody hell. We forgot to go to the dodgy shop. In these instances, what we do is we just unpause the timer, grab the secret potion, and then we will repause the timer once we're back in Olivine until we are back up at Jazz. That's player error. That is not on the Pokemon. Going to chalk it down to not being 100% today. And there we go. We're running about a minute slower than I would have hoped. But that's just like rough guess of where I think the time is going to take us. And a minute here or there is easily gained or lost. If we two-shot the Steelix, we'll be in business, yeah. $31.17 for the mineral badge. I blame Lance for forgetting the secret potion. Welcome in, Bolts the Emolga. You do spot an Emolga. An Emolga that is doing very, very well. I don't think there's been a single Pokemon so far that Emolga struggled with. I hope to feel better soon, but I'm feeling much better already because I'm in the company of all you lovely people. And I never do Saturdays, so I get to meet all kinds of lovely people who I've never met before for the first time. For those of you who are newish to the channel, I've recently moved up into my new office because I had really limited streaming times before, and I'm sort of testing the waters every single day with what days are best to be going live, what days are best to put out the videos. We paralysed Whitney with Spark, so Rollout didn't get a chance to do anything at all, thank goodness. And I think it were a 3-shot with Spark. That's the good thing about Rollout being such low power at the very beginning. You do get a couple of free turns before the cow brings the owl. By the way, if you haven't seen, latest pre-recorded video was Miltank. It came out just a couple of days ago. So we got to get everybody else to mess with the cow and get the owl. I'm going to plonk this protein in now. Now, unfortunately, we weren't quite able to get full protein in. We did cross another threshold there. So we aren't quite as powerful as we could be. But it won't make too much difference in the long run, hopefully. We'll start pivoting to some calcium, I think, next time we go shopping. Because there's no sense in going for Carbos. Our speed is 103. There's nothing in this run that's going to outspeed us now. The only thing that will hit us quicker are priority moves. I don't think there's any sense in focusing on physical defense, because most of the physical trainers we are past already. I wish I could backport them all into one run bolt, but there's so little space in the Gen 2 ROM. We'll be taking a break in after this badge. We'll go through the ice path, but before I go on the break, I'll explain a little bit more about how it works. It's an index amount error. And because we run GameHook, we can't do the same trick that the 16-bit version of Crystal does and have the overlay. Because GameHook reads certain RAM addresses, and the way the 16-bit has done it, certain Pokemon share the same index in RAM. So let's not use that move there. Let's use Hidden Power. Blizzard did not freeze. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, we fully paralysed. We got through scot-free. We should not have had that win. Price, today, I will say I am sorry. That was not on you. That was on us. I will slate you when you play badly, but that was just pure luck. So everybody, please do send your condolences to Price. The one time where he probably deserved the win is the one time luck goes well against him. First time in about a year, I would say that Price could have been a true challenge. Although when we play Dodrio, actually, Dodrio can get screwed over by Price. So where were we? Backporting, technical stuff. So we have space for 3 new moves, 4 if you shift some other bits around. And we have space for 2 new Pokemon because the 255th index, or should I say the 254th index, is taken up by an egg. So, when we do a 3-stage line, we yeet Celebi from the game. When I do a 4-stage line, it's normally one of the legendary birds that gets disappeared into the ether. And then there are certain moves which don't come up either in general in Gen 2, like Razor Wind, or come up so infrequently throughout the course of our standard routing. Things like Sky Attack, things like Pain Split, Aeroblast, and Sacred Fire. So when those moves come up, or when I've got to backport more than 2 or 3 moves, I will get rid of those moves from the game as well. Really wish we could have learnt Icy Wind. It would have been the answer to Lance. Do we have anything else that we can sell for a little bit of cash money moolah? Bruxious, the ugly fish. I've got good news for you. I've started working on sprites on Bruxious. It is literally just the overlay that should prevent everything being usable. I don't mean to sound presumptive, Bolts, but it seems like you kind of know your stuff when it comes to coding, a little bit with Gen 2 at the very least. I have all my backports done on branches in a public repo. So if you do want to try and collate them all, and maybe try and put them all into one ROM, there is a link for all the backports. And there you can see all the little tweaks I've made to the game as well, for the Quality of Life editions. And it goes for anybody else. If you do want to look through that, it's kind of interesting to see the progress we've made over the last 2 and a bit years, actually, coding backports together. But we are actually at the halfway point of the run. And at the halfway point, I take a very, very, very quick break. You don't know what... You know what, but you don't know how. You do follow the 16-bit fork that... I get that completely. I knew the what, but not the how initially. And I thought I was the same until I hit my head against a brick wall like 20, 30 times. Not literally, of course. Tried to get my first backport working. I am going to go on a quick break in a moment, but before I do as well, a couple of Discord server invites that I need to put up. Let me create an invite for my own server. If I can find the blooming link. So, if you want to keep up to date with anything to do with backporting or the channel in general, that is my own Discord server. And then we do have a separate ROM hacking Discord as well. Anyway, I'm going to be sensible on this one. I'm going to take a very quick break. I'm not going to put a timer up or anything, but I will be back in about 3 minutes' time. And we are back. Thank you so much for your patience there. We are now ready for the second part of the challenge. So we'll unpause the timer at 38:18 and we'll get ourselves through the dreaded bloody radio tower, our favourite part of the run. See, I only know about 6 people, so I never have to worry about the server limit notification. I'm in like 10 Discords overall. Then it's weird, I spend most of my time on Discord. I do have to credit my wonderful, very, very dear friend, Mr. Sprouts, for the back sprite on this one. He did a fantastic job. I did the outline and then he He took it from being a fairly decent back sprite and just gave it that je ne sais quoi. He's responsible for some of the best sprite work we've seen on this channel. And I do have to say that I am just the idiot pushing the buttons. There are a lot of people that have helped me out over the years on this channel. Some you've met, some you haven't met, and I am eternally grateful to every single one of them. Because this channel would not be what it is today without all of their help. And that goes down, right down to people who created the original Crystal disassembly. The original people who created GameHook. Kangastan, who did my first overlay with me and taught me the very basic coding. The wonderful Snowy, who taught me how to do Gen 2 coding. It's a whole big group of people. And we all love to help each other out. Because being perfectly honest, the content creator scene can be a little bit cutthroat at times. There are certain people who will purposely push others down to try and further their own careers. But for the most part, in the challenge running scene, it's not like that. Nearly everybody I've met has been so supportive of each other. And it is an absolute pleasure to try and give back as much as I can. The weather is starting to calm down. Still a little bit wild out there. Exactly, it's not a zero-sum game at all. I've always been of the opinion, if I've got an idea that's working, I'm going to share it around. If I know how to do something that somebody else doesn't know how to do, I'll take an hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, days out, weeks even out of my time I've done before, to help them at least get started and to learn the basics. And one of the biggest things I learned very early on is don't think of other runners as competition. Everyone plays in their own way. Everyone has their own way of enjoying and getting things out of challenge running especially. So don't judge others for doing things you wouldn't do in your own run. And especially don't go into other people's chats and say, this is wrong, do not do this. That means your runs are invalid, that means you're playing badly, or whatever. I've seen it happen with one person before, I'm not going to name his name. But yeah, certain times, people can be, and I'm just going to say it, dickheads. But they are very much in the minority in this scene. I think if you go in with a positive mental attitude to your own thing, you don't compare yourself to anyone else, and you try and have fun, whatever it is you're doing, you're always going to get at least somewhere. And that somewhere might be 3 viewers like I had for the longest time with other projects. But I was still enjoying what I was doing. Because while I am eternally grateful for every single one of you who pop into the streams, I'm doing this mostly because I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm doing this because I have fun. And it wouldn't matter if there were 3 of you or 3 million of you. I'd keep doing it the same way. Good evening, Kanbei. I will say it's nice when I get the higher numbers because it means that I get a slightly better amount of money at the end of the month that can pay to keep the channel going, but that's always secondary. You know me, Kanbei. If I had the quickest chat going in the world, I would try my best to treat each and every one of you the same. It's like, there are people in here who've supported since day one. I'm eternally grateful for that. There are people who've watched since day one. They've never become a channel member. They've never bought a super chat. That doesn't matter to me. I would much rather they had fun and appreciated what I was doing. Because I appreciate everybody who just hangs out. Lurking, chatting, anything like that. As long as I can put a smile on people's faces at the end of this run, then I know I've done a bloody good job. Getting all philosophical and emotional today, aren't we? Can tell. Not well, so the emotions come out. Also know how much of a bloody privilege it is to be able to do this. The garden's almost done. I don't believe you, Kanbei. There's always going to be something else that comes up. We probably will go for Thunderbolt later. Although I'm not sure I'm going to do any kind of fancy routing for it. We'll just get it later on. I always, and this is ridiculous, but I picture your garden endeavours, Kanbei, as being a little bit like the 4th Road Bridge. Like, you get to one end, and then you've got to start right back at the beginning again. Should be on for sub 50-minute Claire, hopefully. Maybe that's where you live, actually, Kanbei. You've been throwing us off the scent, and you actually own a house under the suspension bridge. Acrobatics Snowy is ludicrous. Genuinely ludicrous. I hope you're feeling much better than you were, by the way, Snowy. I know you've had it rough last couple of weeks. I feel like you and I, Snowy, are battling to see just how many things our collective immune systems can let through at any one time. I spent most of yesterday in bed. I'm glad you're mostly better now. Please don't push yourself too hard, though. Yes, we are 110 base power for acrobatics. I couldn't quite get the overlay updating in time for it to show its true power. And it makes sense today to take on Megan. Oodles of special stat experience, and not too bad in the other stat experiences either. Give us a teeny tiny bit of bulk. So we run through a check to see if EMOLGA's holding an item. And if we aren't holding an item, there's a little thing that was already coded in. A little routine called double damage. So we jump to double damage if we aren't holding an item. So that means if we were holding anything, we would do the 55 base power. One of the things I always do with the backports is I code the moves in as closely as possible to how they work in the generation the Pokemon was introduced in. Didn't mean to take on this dude, but it's absolutely fine. I think Pursuit might use it as well. Now, Beth here is a mandatory. But we've got Acrobatics. Therefore, we win. Plonk those max repels up to top spot now. Now, we were greedy and sold the other HP up, so we'll pick up our backup HP up. And we will take on the rival for one final time. He's going to lead with Sneasel Pleasel, and we're going to show our aerial prowess against him. Using power on the Magneton. Go back to Acrobatics now for pretty much everything else. One shot in Golbat is a really good sign. Snowy, you're much better with maths than me, but if I've got my numbers correctly, would we currently be 184 base power? Just going to double check we actually afforded those. Yes, we did. How does it have so much physical defense? Good question, actually. That physical defense does look high. That might be a little coding error. I'm adding in the badge boost as well from Falconer with my calcs. I'm just going to pause the timer. I'm just going to double check that I've got the numbers right for this EMOLGA. EMOLGA.ASM. Right. Oh! Right. Slight issue, folks. There's a typo in this. We don't have 60 base defense. We've got 350 base defense. Let's fix that. I think that would actually overflow, wouldn't it? So we're still much more defensive than we should be. But I don't think it's as busted as we would think. Let me remake this. I also don't think it would have made any difference throughout the course of the run. Now, I will warn you, this may break auto-timing on the overlay. But I ain't redoing this one from the start. So we're probably going to see our defense drop next time we level up. We'll see what happens. Now we are going to pause the timer because we did defeat Will initially. I've just got to get through this again. Call it a Gen 1 badge boost glitch. And then we will unpause the timer once we have engaged Koga in battle. Because we did lose about 9 seconds there. Very good spot though, that one. Just shows I do all of these backports by hand. It would have meant that Rock Slide from Jazz... Good noon, Deadpool. It would have meant that Rock Slide from Jazz potentially could have knocked us out with his crit. No need to apologise. This kind of errors happen, and I'm always happy when someone points them out. We're going to get knocked out by Sandstorm if we're not careful here. Eight HP, we get through. I'll take that. Ah, bum. We are very, very close to leveling up, but we aren't close enough for me to want to use the rare candy pre-Karen. So we are going to risk it without candying first. Should be a 2-shot on this Umbreon. Sand attacks hit. Flaming hell. I don't think she's got a priority move, has she? As it stands, would have made no difference because we need to use these rare candies for last and hope for the best. Now there is a chance we might need to play for the Gen 2 miss here. Yeah, we are playing around the Gen 2 miss. Thank you for popping in, Gemma. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Acrobatics is a busted move. I'm going to hold on to Purr's Cure Berry here. I have an idea. It may or may not work. We are just playing for the Gen 2 miss. I am regretting accidentally saying no to discharge as well. In fact, so much so, this run's already busted because of the broken stats. We're going to cheat slightly. We're putting discharge in its place. It's absolutely fine. This one's going to have an asterisk next to it on the leaderboard anyway. That's what I wanted. I wanted to get paralyzed that one time. Safeguard. Oh, Hyper Beam. What a weird lance battle. Very, very weird lance battle there. It's the first time I can remember wanting to go in, getting paralyzed so the berry can cure us. So our last time was 58-17. Let me get that on the leaderboard. We'll take a look at the midpoint leaderboard. And then we'll get Kanto underway. So, midpoint leaderboard. That's a phalanx. It's not what we're after. We want an EMOLGA. I always battle with lies. Do you remember, it wasn't that long ago, where sub 1 hour lance was considered very rare. And now, 58-33 is only enough to get us into 20th. And that's just on stream. It just shows how much improvement and effort has gone in. Not just from me, but from so many people in the Crystal Challenge running community to get these runs as optimized as we can. We'll have Justice for Dunsparce in the form of the Dunsparce coming out later this month as a prereq. Snowy, I genuinely think if you're counting backports as possibilities for sub 45, Staraptor. You've seen what time I got on a first impression. So with your skill going into a Pokemon like Staraptor, sub 45 Lance, I reckon, would be doable. I have to say, as the stream's gone on, I'm feeling less and less unwell the longer I'm going on. Which I'm not going to complain about. It is definitely all of your healing presence. I'm going to put overwriting on the fly to the test now. So that surge split should get overwritten by Erica once we've defeated her. Yeah, Staraptor's level up learn set is good enough without needing to really think about anything other than return as a TM. Flying normal and fighting together is brilliant offensively. We're half there with the auto splitter. The right name's gone in. It's just not then put Surge down second. Oh, Janine. I'm sorry for what's about to happen. Well, I'm not that sorry, but I am a little bit sorry. Quick PP heal here. This bit of movement I need to practice. Janine is absolutely the press A simulator. Right, I'm not well. Let's see how badly I messed this one up. Feeling confident again with Flashless in the runs now. Had a bit of a wobble last week, didn't we? But we're getting there again. Exactly, wing attack means you don't need headbutt nor swift, really. I get that. Flying is, in a lot of ways, normal but better. Trying to get comfy on this blooming chair because my muscles are all achy. I have to keep adjusting position. Early game Gen 2, flying is one of the most overpowered types. Ice, flying, and electric are the three types that get you really far early game in Gen 2. I mean, look at Dodrio, Drill Peck Tri-Attack. Gets it very far in the mid-game. I haven't bought it yet. I've not felt well enough to play. But I shall be picking it up fairly soon. I've messed up slightly here. On the way to the league, I was supposed to pick up Solar Beam. I sold my other backup TM. Which would have been Iron Tail. So Brock could be a little bit tricky. I don't actually think we can reliably get through Surge at the moment, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. Maybe we can, and I should just stop underestimating acrobatics. Yeah, I should just stop underestimating acrobatics. Yeah, in earlier gens, I always found that recoil was never worth it, really. Emolga's like, I need both of these hands to be able to beat things up. Don't make me hold anything. That crit could have just saved Emolga there. That one crit could have potentially saved about 2 or 3 minutes. Into Blaine we go. Penultimate gym leader. Exactly, we don't really, unless it's a type boosting item, we don't really use held items pre-blue anyway. Ooh, Rock Slide hurts. Wrong city, Squidge. Did I buy 2 of them by accident then? Yeah, I did. It's fine. I don't quite have a full plan yet. I've got kind of a plur. Right, let's try this again. This isn't going to be consistent. This isn't going to be clean. But it might just bloody work. Good afternoon, D1. You've joined just as, because I messed up slightly, just where EMOLGA is going to start struggling. We're fine now. Is it elegant? No. Does it get the job done? Yes. Is that all that matters? Absolutely. I've got to be honest, I've got real KFC cravings, but I'm being sensible. I'm not proud of how we got through blue there. But we did get through blue. I will be honest, the only times I've had KFC in the last 18 months or so have been when you wonderful, lovely people have crowdsourced it and crowdfunded it. I cannot justify how much bloody KFC costs these days. Completely agree, all fast food is neither fast, cheap, nor really food these days for the most part. There we go. Through Silver Cave for another one. Going to be playing for the Gen 2 miss here. Oh, this one could be a little bit pesky, you know. We don't really have anything great for Pikachu. We can't hold the lefties either, which means our normal stalling type strats won't work. We're rolling the double team dice just in case we get through while I'm trying to figure out if there is a better learn set I want to go for. Bugger, I pressed the wrong button there. How did Blizzard hit through all of that? We are losing a little bit of time here, but we should be okay. Got myself lost. Have I managed to get lost here? Bloody hell. The fatigue of being ill is kicking in, clearly. Let's piss away these rappel steps. We'll do it again. This time I will actually pay attention to what I'm doing. I think I overshot somewhere by like one block. Screw you, Red. I hate this rat. Out of every Pokemon in the game, I think this rat drinks Secret Potion more than any other. Reflect isn't what I was looking for there. Don't paralyze. For flipping X's sake. I think this is ranged. Oh, thank goodness for that. I came close, Kanbei. I could feel the F word. I could feel it coming out of my mouth. I just whacked the mic there with my head. I hope that didn't come through. Let me adjust this little thing here. There we go. Shouldn't be getting any microphone-related concussions anymore. I mean, I did call someone a dickhead today, so I'm not completely clean with the old language. But I'm better than I could have been. That is for absolute sure. Let's take a look at leaderboards. 26th place on the Unbound rules, not bad, all things considered. A lot of that was player error, a lot of that we could have saved time, but I reckon, you know, I'll schedule this one as a video, not this exact run, but I'll schedule EMOLGA as a video in the new year, and I'll use what I've learnt on this one to hopefully get, I'm going to aim at about a 117, I reckon, for EMOLGA. Now, on streams only, streams only 68th place, second behind the Mewtwo stream, can't complain there. Feel free to send it on Switch, Kanbei. And then we will also look at the overall leaderboard before calling it for today. (135th), tied with Gramble. Now Gramble takes it ahead of EMOLGA because Gramble was played before EMOLGA. And theory says I should be getting quicker the more runs I do. That's how I've justified not doing any complex coding there, honestly. I'm very glad you were able to catch it as well, Bolt. I hope I have at least done some justice for EMOLGA today. Effing F-head piece of inky useless Perfect, Kanbei. Thank you. Right. With that, I think we are done for today. If you have enjoyed the stream, please do make sure to leave a like. All that generic YouTuber nonsense that I have to say to keep YouTube off my back. I will be back very, very soon. I might try and get another one in tomorrow. Probably going to run Dedenne tomorrow, I reckon. We'll see how we feel. If I'm feeling like this, I'll definitely do another stream tomorrow. If not, it'll be a little bit later in the next week or so. But thank you all so much for popping in. I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful time today on this very last minute stream. I'll catch you all very, very soon.